Hey everyone, welcome to Hallie's Kitchen, where I teach you Japanese words and slang to help you sound or become more fluent. The past 2 episodes have been me teaching English and Japanese, and I do think I thrive more in that department because I'm more fluent in English. But for any of my Japanese learners out there who are interested in learning more about the language, I decided to do the English version where I'm teaching you Japanese. So I hope this video finds you well. Today we're going to be making banana chocolate chip cookies because I made these the other day and they were so delicious, so I really want to make them again. The recipe will be linked down below. Let's get started. I'm just starting by mashing my bananas. So while we do that, let's talk about the first word that I'm going to teach you today, which I think if you have ever been in Japan, talked to the locals there, especially the young people, you probably have heard the term yabai. Yabai is probably like the most used slang term word ever. I swear everybody uses it, and it honestly started to rub off on me when I was traveling there this year. I don't think it's really a word that you learn like in school or classes or courses or anything like that. But basically, yabai could mean so many different things. There's not just one meaning. It could mean cool, it can mean interesting, it can mean amazing, it can mean scary, it can mean so many different things. It can mean good things and bad things, so you can really use it anywhere. For example, if you see like a creepy man across the street, you could say, あのおじさんちょっとやばい, which can mean like that guy looks suspicious. Or say you're eating really delicious food, you could say このご飯やばい, which can mean it's really good. If someone's telling you a story and you want to say like, oh, that's so interesting, you could say yabai ne. If something is really cool, you could say yabai. There's honestly so many different ways to use this word. I can't just condense it into one definition, but you will hear this word so much on Japanese TV, or if you go to Japan and talk with the locals or kind of the younger people. I think older people use it now as well, but this is such a well-known and well-used term that I'm sure you've probably heard of it. Next one is a word that I don't really use, umai, which means delicious or yummy. So it is a good thing. It means like, oh, this food is really good. I think the term that you guys would probably learn is oishi, which is just delicious. And I would say that oishi is kind of a more, not elegant, but just a more appropriate way of saying something is good. You would only really use the word umai in like a very informal setting or when you're with just your friends. You should never use this in a professional setting, by the way. It's not like an elegant word, I guess. Like you should definitely say oishi if you want to be a little bit more proper, I guess. I never used this word. I just never really grew up on it, and especially for girls, it's not really seen as like the best word to be using. Next one is also really well known, probably used as much as yabai, which is maji. Maji means like for real or seriously or legitimately, not joking, like something around that sense. And so you would probably use this in a situation where if someone tells you something shocking and you want to say, oh my god, are you serious? Or you want to say, really? You would say maji. Again, this is kind of like an informal way of saying like hontoni. That's kind of like the real way of saying like really or seriously. So this is another word that you would use only in an informal setting. You don't want to use this in a professional setting. Do not say this in a professional setting. But maybe like with your friends or you're just in a really comfortable situation, then you would use this word. If it's not used as like a question, you could say it when you're talking about something. Let's say like yesterday I had a really yummy dinner. So I could say 昨日のご飯マジで美味しかった. And that just basically means the food I had yesterday was really good. So yeah, only used in casual settings. The next one is along the same lines as majide, so it could be mechakucha, which is also means like for real or seriously or a lot or something like that. It's a very casual, oh no, got a shell in there. So yeah, this is another term that you would use like with your friends or something. And going back to my dinner last night, if I wanted to say that food was really good, I could use maji, but I could also use mechakucha. So I could say 昨日のご飯めちゃくちゃ美味しかった, which just means the food yesterday was really good. So yeah, it's very similar, but people also say mecha instead of mechakucha. It just kind of depends, like whichever you want to use, it means the same thing. Next one is a word that I've always known, but apparently people don't really use it anymore, and that is ukeru. Ukeru just means that's really funny. If something funny happens, you would just say ukeru. And I'm not sure if it's true, but yeah, when I was watching a Japanese TV show the other day, these young girls said that saying ukeru is kind of like not cool anymore, I guess. Like it's kind of behind trend or something. I'm honestly not sure. I've never really used that term before, but that is something you could hear from Japanese locals. So the next one is gachide or gachi. So gachi means also, oh my god, I didn't even really realize, but that one also is kind of for real. It just means like seriously. So I know there's like so many different ways to say seriously or for real, but in my vlog the other day, I said that the sunflower maze that I went through with my friend Amy, we were talking about how the maze was like actually really confusing. It's kind of, I guess, more like legitimately. When I went through that maze, I was kind of assuming that it was going to be really easy and I thought it was just going to be a walk in the park, but it turned out that it was actually pretty difficult and we did get lost. And so afterwards I said, あの迷路ガチで難しかったね, which means maze was actually really hard, or that maze was actually really difficult. And again, you can use this as like a question as well. So if you want to ask someone, are they for real or are you serious? You could also say ガチで. There's so many different ways to say are you serious, I guess. Alright, so the next one is guguru. Guguru means to Google something. I think this might be one of like the newer terms. It just means like I'm gonna Google it. If you're unsure of something and you're gonna say I'm just gonna Google it, you would say, わかんないな、ちょっとググってみる. Or if you want to ask someone if they Googled something, you could say ググった. In the Japanese language, they really like to make things short. So instead of saying like グーグルしてみた, you would say ググった. Just to make it easier to say, I guess. And there's honestly a lot of words like that. Maybe I should make a whole video on it. Things like Starbucks is Starbucks, but to shorten it, everyone says Starbucks. Or there's a convenience store in Japan called Family Mart, but nobody calls it Family Mart. Everyone says Famima. Other ones I can think of off the top of my head would be, I guess maybe like McDonald's. Like that would be McDonald's is Mac. And I feel like there's always like words that are coming out in Japan you just never really know how to keep up with, especially because I don't live out there. Like I don't know what the new terms are. But I recently learned like rebechi means reberu ga chigau, which just means like we're on different levels. So yeah, there's definitely many terms to keep up with. Since I've always lived out here in Vancouver, I've never really had the opportunity to talk to Japanese locals all that much, especially my age. Like I've never really been in Japanese society before, but I kind of like dipped my toe in it this year, and after that I actually did start saying yabai and majide and stuff like that, which is very not like me, and I kind of feel foreign when I say it because it's just not in my vocabulary. But since I heard everyone say it all the time, it just kind of like grew on me and I started to say it. And so if you ever travel out to Japan and you speak Japanese with them or something, you'll definitely hear one or more of these terms that I told you guys about today. Alright, I'm gonna pop these cookies in the oven and I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Alright, the cookies are done and they look so good. It smells so good too. Let's try one of these. Itadakimasu. Still pretty hot, but it's so good. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and like the video if you learned something, and leave me a comment about what you thought about this lesson today. I'll be back next Friday, Canadian time, Saturday, Japan time, with a brand new episode. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!